Good morning. I'm late doing this. I should have done it on Tuesday, but I'm getting it done this week. So that there's one at least. My bad, right? All right. So what we're looking at today in the journal is exploring you, and I'll discuss this quote by J.R. Tolkien. If you know the Lord of the Rings series, that's from them, and you can see it reflected through the whole series. So let's have a look. Exploring you. Discovering your interests and what you enjoy doing is a lifelong process and it pays off in a big way. Start with things you're curious about. Curious meaning you wanting to find out more, right? Think about what you love doing most. If you're sitting there and you're like, oh, I don't love doing anything, then maybe you don't love doing anything now, but go back a little bit. When you were younger, when you were smaller, when you were a kid, if you're a kid now, when you were even younger still, like what did you do when you were 4 years old? What did you do when you were 5 years old? What did you do when you were 6 years old? What did you do when you were 10, when you were 15? Maybe not 15, you might have started to drift it at that point. But usually in those young areas, they can give you clues as to what were the things that you do them and you'd almost lose yourself in whatever you're doing. Some people do it when they're surfing, right? They'll be surfing and they'll be like time stands still. Some people will be doing it when they're drawing. Some people will be doing it when they're gaming. Some people will be doing like me when I was doing my karate or my martial arts. That was very meditative for me. I also used to do it just walking around paddocks, and I do that now. Just going walking down creeks and over rocks and streams and looking at the little animals that pop up different areas. You know, you've got your big ones like your roos, and then you got foxes and you got rabbits. But then they keep getting smaller, and you start seeing like tadpoles in dams and yabbies or turtles or snails used to be a really big one for me. I was fascinated with snails, but it wasn't the snail necessarily. I think it was just observing how it moved in its nature and its individual nature, and just being curious about that, not expecting it to be one way or another, but just being curious and purely focusing on that. I think if you go out in nature and do that now, for me personally, it's a very meditative process and really, really helpful. So, what are some of the things that you love doing most? Writing these down helps. You can also imagine various jobs you want to try or think about world issues you want to work on. So, jobs, don't think if you're going to school or you're in primary school or like God, some people are thinking about university when they're in year six. Don't worry about that. Like, you might not even go to university. I didn't go to university. I never want to go to university. I think it's a complete waste of time because I don't want to do those things. If you want to be a doctor, if you want to be a lawyer, then university makes sense. But if you want to own a business and you just want to get in and do stuff, university does not make sense. Definitely not starting off, anyways, because you're learning from people who have never done it themselves. But if you're doing something like law or you're doing something like medicine, standard medicine, anyways, it makes sense to go to university for those things. But there's so many things these days university just does not make sense for at all. At all. So for me, it seems like a waste of time. If you're in year six or year five and you're being pushed to start thinking about your tests and your program, or year four even, and it's like gearing you towards university when you're that young, you might not even go. Like you just might not. There's been some amazing, amazing people that have never been to university and never got a degree. There's been other amazing people that have been to university, got degrees, and wish they never got their degrees because they'd be 4 years further ahead or 5 years further ahead in their life. So just at the early stages, even if you're older, man, just do things that excite you. Do things that light you up. Do things that you're like, oh, I want to do more of that. Not like, oh, do I have to do this? If that's what you like all the time, you just like you're not going to be living a fulfilled life. Just straight up, you want to be doing things that are exciting for you. That I think that's the key. You find things that are exciting, cool. Just follow that. Keep doing it. Keep talking to people that do that, and you'll be able to. If money's the sort of outcome that you're looking for, you'll be able to make money anywhere, absolutely anywhere. If you're talking to people that have been to university and got degrees, they're not going to think that. But if you talk to people that haven't, then you'd be like, yeah, you can make money doing anything. Absolutely anything. All right. Absolutely anything. All right. So be creative when you're thinking about jobs and things that you want to do. Very important. World issues, same thing. Look at, no, I don't really like the person, or no, hold on. I don't know the person, so I don't dislike her. I dislike her beliefs. But Greta, little Greta, the wanting everything to be green and then making everything worse in the process. But it's a really cool showing of how a young person just stuck with her belief can go and fight for it without going to university. Her role started much earlier than any sort of education. I think at 15, she was talking to world leaders. That's a cool. Now, even though I don't agree with what she talks about, it's a very cool example of someone that doesn't need an education thing. You just need passion. You just need energy, and you just need like emotion and drive, and you can do amazing things regardless of your age, regardless of your education. These, by the way, it's to block blue light from the computer. I'm doing a lot of work on here at the moment. When blue light gets in your eyes consistently, it can be quite bad. And any light that comes from screens or phones or tablets comes in consistently, and it messes with your brain. So I've got to wear these more than I do currently. That's why I'm wearing these. But I don't need glasses. They don't do anything. I just block the blue light. All right. Then dive into your interests and explore them further. Knowing and developing your interests will help you set goals and dream of the life you want to have. So true. So that's why you write them down. Things that interest you, things that excite you. All my goals on the walls here are written down based about my interests, the things that excite me, and the change that I want to make. And it's like enjoyable. It's enjoyable to do. I'm excited, not every day, but most days. I wake up and I'm excited. I'm like, yeah, cool. Let's get this done. This is going to be amazing. Like, I'm just creating random stuff. Things that, yeah, pretty insane. Definitely not what I'd ever be creating. But with these, if you're watching these videos that I'm doing now with the self-defense stuff and teaching it through and basically what I'm trying to do is turn a lesson into a game, right? Because I found the games captivated people and drew people in. I always drew me when I was little, so I'm basically just trying to follow that structure and make martial arts or karate, which can be taught. If you're talking to the oldies and the originals or the traditionals, they can teach it very, very boring, and they care more about what they're teaching than who they are teaching to. I care about kids having skills to protect themselves and keep themselves safe. And all martial arts were developed for fighting, for warfare, to keep people safe, to keep them alive in those days, because it was a bit more severe. But it wasn't about, initially, it wasn't about the art as such. It wasn't about karate, or it wasn't about taekwondo, or it wasn't about Muay Thai, or it was about fighting for survival. That's what it was. And then it drifted into, it's got to be this specific way. And it's like, I just don't agree. I think there's different answers for different situations. And if you can teach similar skills in a way that's more geared towards your audience, and for me, obviously, I'm targeting the young kids, then it's better for the kids. It's also a challenge for me. But it's a little bit fun for me because I get to put myself in Dragon Ball Z videos and I'm like, and I'm like shooting out waves from my hands and blocking them and fighting. And when I was a kid watching Dragon Ball Z, like, that was a dream for me. I was like, wouldn't it be amazing to fight these people? Like, get in there and do the training and have energy, have like glows coming around you. So even if no one's enjoying these videos, I don't really care because I'm enjoying doing it. And that is literally what I've been talking about here, which this is good. It's like finding your interests. Never in my wildest dreams would I have, because editing videos is a pain. It takes a long time. And it can be a really painful process. A 10-minute video might take me anywhere between 4 and 7 hours, usually, for 10 minutes, right? That's a lot of work for like 5 people watching a video, right? So the lives are easy because I just get in here and talk. And even if 4 people watch it, I've nearly got as many people watching as the real ones sometimes. So it's not about doing or far out. If I was thinking, I've got to go to university and get a media degree before I can make a video. No, just go on YouTube. How do I do this? How do I do this? How do I do this? YouTube is a university. Use it for whatever you want to learn, and it's free. But I think it's really good for those people who it's like libraries. Libraries got so much information, no one uses them. But YouTube's really good for people who just want to get stuff done and want to find out how to do it fast. So I recommend it very strongly. If you're interested in learning things and doing things, then just search it and do it. Like just do it. Just do it. Get it done. And really, really helpful. Okay. Not all those who wander are lost. I'm a great example because I just spent 10 minutes talking about a page of a few words, and I was wandering all over the place with my thoughts, and we've been talking about snails and tadpoles, we've been talking about university, we've been talking about dreams, we've been talking about, and I'm wandering all over the place, but I'm not lost at all. I know exactly where I'm going and the points that I'm trying to get across. I'm just using a lot of different examples to try and get there. Not all those who wander are lost. J.R.R. Tolkien, author of Lord of the Rings. If you haven't read Lord of the Rings, I haven't read Lord of the Rings. It's one that I'd like to go and read. It's just not at this phase of my life yet that I'll be putting that time into. But if you haven't watched the movies, I strongly recommend going and doing it because I think there's some really powerful messages in there, as well as it being entertaining, super entertaining. But some very powerful messages, and you see their characters are wandering everywhere. Like, the goal is to save the world in that sort of situation. But to save the world, they've got to wander a lot. They've got to go through all these different tasks, obstacles, ways, a loop, be friends with people they wouldn't usually be friends, dress up as people, pretend they're the enemy, pretend they're this, like so many crazy things. But they're wandering all over the place. And it can look like they're lost almost all the time. And they're not, because they're moving towards this goal and they've got this constant goal. And they're like, all right, cool. How do we get there? What are the approach we're going to take? Let's go this way. Oh, wait, no, we've got a loop. We've got to go around this way. Oh, wait, no, now we've got to go over. So wandering around, I guess when it's talking about jobs and things that you want to do, if you're like, but I don't want to do one thing, that's good. Okay, that's good. You're not going to do one thing. You're probably going to do about 1 million by the time you're done, assuming that you live till you're 70, which if you look after your health, learn the foundations of your health, it should be in your control, not anyone else's. If you look after your health, you can live a very, very long life and allow yourself the opportunity to try so many different things. I know for sure that I'm not going to be teaching martial arts for the rest of my life. Definitely not. Business is something I'll probably always be involved in, but it's going to be in different industries. One of my dreams is to have a gold, silver, and oil company, and that's one of the things I'll do one day. There's a little bit later on, maybe around 40. I'd like to be sort of getting to that, but there's so many different things you could do. Don't think that you're just limited. Don't think that you have to be fixed in one thing. Go out and learn. Find things that interest you. There's 1,000 different things. Search random stuff. Read something. Watch something that you would never normally watch each day. Go and follow someone on. Talk to a friend at school that you would never usually talk to. That's how you learn. If you keep talking to the same people and doing the same things, you're not going to expand your thinking process or how you're thinking. So go and talk to different people. Like one of the things that I was doing, and I would still be doing, had everything not shut down, but that's the way it is at the moment, was I went to play polo. Like go and play where you ride the horses and you got the stick and hitting the ball. And I've been able to ride horses, right? I could get on a horse and walk and trot. Okay, but now I'm cantering really well, so going fast on the horse with boom, one hand, I've got a stick, I'm hitting a ball as we're going, not every time, but I'm getting better. and I'm meeting these different people. I'm like in this different area. This is something that is like so far out of what I would normally do. But it's amazing. It's just giving me so many different thought processes. And as I'm doing it, other issues that I'm getting, I'm like, oh, okay, cool. I see how that connects. I see how things that I teach in martial arts is connecting to riding a horse. And it's a really, really cool thing. So that was just a random one. Like, go skydive, go diving underwater, go if you've never started a business, go and start selling something on the side out the front of your house. Like, put a sign up. My nieces did this the other day. They're like selling lemonade. I don't know if they were successful or not, but they've gone through the process and done it. And they've started dog walking businesses. They've started rock painting businesses while they were traveling. And it's like so cool. My little niece, she was 6. She just started selling chocolates, which, while she's only just started, it's a business. She made a sale, and that's cool. Not many 6-year-olds get to do that, right? Well, she's 7 now. She turned 7 now. But go. It doesn't matter what it is. Just go and do it. Go and try stuff, because that's how you learn. That's how your mind expands. That's where you're going to learn more about yourself and the things that you actually like. So I really encourage you to go and do that, especially if you're young. Try as much as possible. Every day you should be doing something new. Every single day you should be trying something new in whatever form. If it's watching a video, if it's reading a book, if it's having a conversation with a person you wouldn't normally talk to, talk to a different teacher, right? So if you're studying different subjects at school, talk to your teachers rather than you asking them questions for information. Ask them questions about their life. What do you wish you would have done? Older people can give you so much amazing information. How do you wish you have handled this situation in your life differently? Because that's giving you shortcuts. That means that you don't have to go through those issues because they've already been through them. So you just learn from them, right? So if you can talk to those people and be like my dad's a great one for me. I talk to him enormously now about money and his business or his personality dealing with people, because he failed miserably for a long period of time, yet was still very successful because he was so driven to be a provider for a family. And he did that amazingly well. It was a great example of masculine energy and what it is, and some of the positive benefits that could come from it. Was phenomenal. But there was a lot of mistakes that he made in the process. And being able to talk to him about that now helps me hugely, as well as helps him, because he's like, oh, wow. He's getting all these new perspectives and he's learning. He's 74 years old, and being able to have those conversations and analyze and bounce ideas off are amazing for him. So I think talking to older people is great, but follow your own interests as well and be willing to expand all the time. Always go and learn more. Wander. Go wandering. Doesn't mean you're lost. Just wander. Don't worry about where you're going. Sometimes you do want to have a destination, but sometimes just wander. Just wander. Go explore. Go observe things. Go look at a tree and see how many new things you can see about that tree that you didn't see yesterday. Go and look at a flower. Go and dig a hole and observe the different types of rocks, minerals, salts. Are there worms there? Why would there be worms in that spot and not another spot? Like, they seem like basic questions, but it'll get your mind thinking differently, and that's the goal. Okay? So I'll leave it there. I definitely went longer than I wanted to, but I actually enjoyed that conversation, so I hope you did too. If you didn't, I don't care, because I enjoyed it. I'll see you on the next one. Bye.